Hello, good morning, good day, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on shifting from traditional soft drinks to healthier alternatives. I'm your host, Bojan Mijatovic, a global market analyst in the intelligence departments here at Tridge, and we have a very diverse group here today at various time zones in the world, and we are very excited to have you join us today. Let me present some of our solutions, like the trade solution. Tridge Trade Solution is a global business-to-business marketplace tailored for agribusinesses, enabling buyers and suppliers to form lasting trust-based relationships. And uh, with built-in features that make global trade easier and more secure, Tridge fosters authentic engagement through social elements like news feeds and commenting, encouraging meaningful long-term partnerships. Powered by actionable data and analytics, our platform delivers reliable insights for smarter decision-making and business growth. Our Tridge Pavilion is an innovative platform designed to showcase a curated selection of high-quality agribusiness products, enabling global buyers and suppliers to connect seamlessly in collaboration with, for example, Italian trade agency. Our Tridge Pavilion enhances international trade opportunities by promoting Italian agribusinesses and various other agribusinesses, facilitating efficient global market access, and fostering long-term partnerships through data-driven insight and trust market environment. At Ridge, we are building a trusted global trade community in the food and agriculture industry by blending professional networks with advanced data intelligence. Our mission is to be the leading platform for sourcing solutions, connecting buyers and suppliers globally with confidence and efficiency, while driving equity, resilience, and sustainability in the agricultural sector. Our services include intelligence and data, providing qualitative and quantitative data on food and agriculture to provide comprehensive solutions for our users. Some of the intelligence features we provide include, but are not limited to, for example, Tridge reports, Tridge opinions, weekly updates, analysis, price data, weather data, along with trade data to help our clients enhance their decision-making skills. If you would like to learn more about Tridge's intelligence solution, please feel free to reach out to us via email or feel free to post questions in the chat. We have created an agribusiness system in more than 60 countries, meaning we can offer a powerful way to help farmers, growers, and exporters to meet the right buyers globally. Our data allows us to help you target specific buyers by matching purchasing requirements with your products. Tridge platform can promote your brand and products to particular importers and retailers throughout business-to-business meetings. As for this webinar, along with the previous one, we are offering a certificate of attendance for all of our registered users. Only condition is to fill out the survey, which will be shared after the presentation. Please fill out the survey to help us improve the webinar, and also presentation, recordings, and answers to your questions will be shared via email within 3 business days. Let's go briefly over the agenda for the day. The first part will be the changing landscape of the soft drink industry. The second part, strategies for success in the health-conscious soft drink market. And finally, we will move to the panel discussions after the presentation. Like I said, I am Bojan Mijatovic. I will be your host for today's webinar. Our very own MZ will be the presenter. And here are our speakers for the panel discussion. Meet Kevin Lopez, Assistant Manager in Colombia, and Ahmad Fatih Abdelkader from Egypt, our Quality Control Specialist. So during the webinar, if you have any questions that you hope to address during the Q&A session in the end, please feel free to post your question in the chat. Now we will welcome MZ, who will present on the shifting from traditional soft drinks to healthy alternatives. Hello, MZ, please take over.
Okay, thank you so much, Boyan, and welcome everyone. Good day. Thank you so much for joining us. As Boyan has said, my name is Mzingai Ndubio. I'm a global market analyst here at Tridge, and I've been covering a variety of products over the last 6 years for Tridge, including value-added products and beverages, like what we're going to discuss today. So, basically, in the beginning, our first section, we're going to look at the general landscape in the soft drinks and beverages industry globally. And in the second part of the presentation, like Boyan said, we're going to look at the strategies that stakeholders in the industry have been employing to kind of adapt to the current changes. So, just a brief overview. So, all of us, as we know, the past few decades have been dominated mostly by sugary beverages, soft drinks such as Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Those have done very well over the past few decades. They have transcended different demographics and also cultures, um, and it's led to a multi-billion-dollar industry globally. However, in recent years, we have seen a shift from this trend of sugary beverages, more so leaning towards healthier options. And this has been consumer driven because the type of consumer that we have nowadays is more concerned with what they're putting into their bodies. They're more concerned with how the production of that is affecting the environment. So this switch towards health focused options has driven the market, and stakeholders have therefore shifted the type of products that they produce, how they market them, and this is what we're going to discuss here today.
Sorry, MZ, go ahead.
So, okay, so first we want to expand more on the trend that I spoke about in the previous slide. So there has been a decrease in the demand for sugary soft drinks like the Coca-Cola and Pepsi in the traditional form in which they were produced before. So less sugar is now more in demand than high quantities of sugar. All right. So companies have adapted to this by creating the similar brands but low sugar, zero sugar options, right? And then also this has been spearheaded as well by regulatory bodies and also governments in different countries, by trying to push consumers to be more health conscious, but also trying to push manufacturers to produce more health conscious, more environmentally conscious products. One example that we have of this is the UK soft drinks industry levy. And simply put, basically, the more sugar that is contained within a beverage, the higher the tax that is placed on that particular product. So, what would happen in the case of a consumer walking into a store? They would then have pay more for a beverage that contains more sugar when this tax is applied, as compared to a product with less sugar, where the tax is either very low or there is no tax on that particular brand. So that would influence manufacturers, therefore, to produce more products with less sugar in these particular countries where taxes are actually placed on these products. So we see a shift. We see a shift from the consumers. We see a shift from the regulatory bodies as well. And this shift is spearheaded mostly by the millennials and the Gen Z demographics. And those are the main demographics that companies within the beverages industry are trying to target. Okay, so we see now a growing demand of healthier alternatives. So, as I said previously, companies have tried to adapt to this by creating different product lines, creating different brands that lean towards healthy lifestyles, wellness, and so on and so forth. So this is where functional beverages, for example, have become very popular over the past few years. And here at Tridge, we have actually done extensive research on this, On the right, you see an infographic that came from an article that I actually created last year following this functional beverage trend. And what we discovered is that the global functional beverage market is expected to continue growing at a rate of 11.1% for the next 3 years. And it's now $1 billion industry in countries like the US. Um, I have seen it as well here in South Africa. Over the weekend I went to Checkers, and there's now a whole aisle of functional beverages, as compared if you go 2 3 years before, it was just like a small section. So this shows the consumer demand, and I'm sure Kevin is going to speak on this when it comes to the Latin American market, and Emad as well when it comes to Europe, because it is spreading across all markets. So companies have had to come up with different types of healthier options to try and meet this, and this has also spilled across to the ingredients that they're putting into these actual drinks. So moving away from artificial ingredients more towards organic, plant based, and so on and so forth. So one example of how the major players in the market. So we take it back to Coca-Cola and PepsiCo. So they have, besides coming up with new beverage options, they have also revamped the traditional brands that we know and consume, like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, by creating zero sugar or low sugar options. So now you see, as the chart on the right showcases, the global zero sugar beverages market is on the rise as a result of this, because consumers that were in love with these brands are more leaning towards the zero.
We have some technical issues. Just a second, we're sorting them out. MZ, can you hear us? I'm sorry, everyone. We have some technical issues. We will continue briefly. In the meantime, Kevin, Emad, can I ask you please to briefly introduce yourself and your role at Rich? Kevin, can you go first?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Please be very welcome to today's webinar. My name is Kevin Lopez. I'm assistant manager at Trix. I'm based in Colombia. It's now for me 3 years in the company, with areas of expertise like purchasing fresh fruits, selling fresh fruits, and operations as well. Eh, Logistics too. All concentrated in the fulfillment side of the company. The one area that Boyan explained earlier today, and it's a pleasure for me to discuss this topic, which is very relevant for the industry, not only in the fresh fruit, but in the beverage and drinks industry in a global scale today. So for me, it's a pleasure to be here speaking and sharing these insights with you all.
Thank you, Kevin. Emad, can you please briefly introduce yourself?
Dear Bijan, thanks for your invitation for this webinar. I am Imad Fathi Abdelkader. I am from Egypt, with a 20 years of recruitment team here in Egypt. I have a PhD in science microbiology, working with different sectors before, at beverage, at juice industry, at dairy product with fresh and vegetable and the frozen product. I am working with Rich for about 3 years. Uh, we support the team here in Egypt for sourcing all the fresh vegetable and grain product to export to different market. And we will talk today about the soft drink fulfillment. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Ahmad. MZ is back. We sorted out technical difficulties. We will continue with the presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Boyan. Sorry about that. Okay, so now just a few examples. We are going to get into more of a discussion about this in the second part of the presentation. But as you can see, the image that we have there on the right, there have been a lot of companies that have actually come up now and entered the market with these healthier options, the functional beverages. One example that we have in the US, for example, is the one that you see, LaCroix. So they have come up with a flavored sparkling water, product line, and they use natural ingredients like fruits. So you find they have like a coconut option, an apricot option, an orange option, where so the consumer gets the same taste sensation that they would have from the traditional sugary beverage, and they have the same flavor, but now it's a healthier option. So this is the trend that companies are now moving towards. And now we'll move to the second part of the presentation. So now when we look at how stakeholders in the industry have been responding to this, so as we discussed earlier, it begins from a product level. They have had to come up with different product types to meet the health conscious consumer of nowadays. And this has resulted in them using more organic ingredients, whole food ingredients, such as fruits, herbs, and botanicals, even shifting towards the more functional ingredients like adaptogens like ginseng and ashwagandha and so on, and using less of the artificial ingredients that they used to rely on in the past. Because now the health conscious consumer pays a lot of attention to what is contained inside the beverage as compared to just how the beverage tastes, right? And they've also had to pay attention to, so as I've said, the consumer is concerned about the beverage itself, but also, besides the health benefits of the beverage, how the production of that beverage impacts the environment as a whole. So companies have to pay attention to the actual packaging. So we've actually seen this trend where companies are using plant-based packaging. They try and get as sustainable as possible. Their recycled packaging, upcycled packaging, and so on and so forth, to try and promote more sustainability and to have less of an impact on the environment, because the consumers are paying attention to both ends of the spectrum. So from a flavor point of view, some of the examples we have here, brands like Olipop and Poppy, and they have come up with functional beverage options where they utilize a lot of, whole foods ingredients, adaptogens and so on and so forth, but they maintain the flavor. But the way they market the health benefits, the functionality of these brands, which is what consumers nowadays are looking for. And then we also have it with the major players in the industry. They've had to respond as well, such as Coca-Cola here. So this is another example as well. So Coca-Cola had a campaign for 100% recycled plastic bottles. So to try and promote, being as eco-friendly as possible. So we see this across the board. Now, so we move from the product side of it, and then we come to the actual how companies are actually penetrating the industry now, because like we have explained, it's a different industry, so the dynamics are different. So the first consideration comes with the actual labeling. It's now very important for companies to be very specific when they label their products. So if it's a low sugar product, it has to be specified zero sugar, and this is what entices the consumer. If the product has organic ingredients and so on and so forth, so this has to be specified on the actual bottle or the actual packaging. Companies also go to regulatory bodies to get certain certifications, either to make it vegan, to make it lactose free, and so on and so forth, because consumers are very concerned as to what is contained. And the more you have certification, the more the consumer can trust that the ingredients are what you say they are, because it's very easy for someone to just stick something on the label without any form of certification or verification. Now, when it comes to uh, marketing campaigns, companies are focusing a lot on utilizing social media, because when it comes to health-focused consumers, they consume a lot of content on social media, and they follow, for example, social media influencers that either health-focused, from uh, um, nutritionists, botanists, personal trainers, and so on and so forth. So they follow them as part of their health journey. So if these influencers then market a company's product and explain it to be healthy and to assist with the type of lifestyle that the consumers are looking at achieving, then this would help the company penetrate the market and achieve high sales growth within its specific demographics. So we see a lot of that on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and so on. You name it. Another thing that's very important nowadays is paying attention to storytelling. So, when it comes to millennials and Gen Z, storytelling is very important. So they want the product or the brand as a whole to have a story around it. So you find when brands are launched, they try in their marketing campaigns to have a story around it as to how they came across this particular product, why they actually manufactured it, so that it builds an emotional connection that will allow that consumer to be a returning consumer. So when you have a new product that's launched, because they know the story behind that particular brand, and so they want to be connected to it as compared to just putting a product on a shelf. So all these considerations have become very important for companies when they're trying to appeal to the millennials or to Gen Z. Right, so we come to the end of our presentation. So just to recap everything, so as we said in the beginning, that sugary beverages, there's a low demand for that globally. And like I said, Emma and Kevin will expand on that. So companies have had to shift and focus on more healthier options and coming with different product types that meet that particular demand. And this has promoted the rise of functional beverages, as an example, low sugar, zero sugar, beverages, even of the same type of beverages that were popular before with sugar content, like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. And they've had to also change the types of ingredients that they put there, focusing more on organic ingredients, plant-based ingredients, change the labeling by highlighting the different health benefits, and the packaging as a whole, using eco-friendly packaging, and also marketing by focusing on social media campaigns and forming an emotional connection with the consumer. And here at Tridge, we have been covering this shift for the past few years. We've been following it by publishing articles and reports, as you can see here on the right, from the rising health awareness trend to the zero sugar market, and so on and so forth. So we definitely implore you to take a look at our platform, to go through the insights, to follow this trend and the developments in it, and also other content as well, so that you remain up to date. Thank you so much for your time. That is the end of our presentation.
Thank you, MZ, for your outstanding presentation on shifting from traditional soft drinks to healthier alternatives. I will try to briefly summarize the presentation. So it appears that global soft drink industry, traditionally dominated by sugary sodas like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, is shifting toward healthier alternatives due to rising health concerns such as obesity and diabetes. Consumers are increasingly avoiding high sugar beverages driven by regulatory pressures like sugar taxes and a growing focus on wellness. Also, functional drinks with added health benefits such as kombucha and plant-based beverages are gaining popularity. Major brands are seemingly reformulating products to reduce sugar, while newer brands like LaCroix and By emphasize natural ingredients and transparency. Um Seems like the future of the industry lies in health-focused innovations, sustainability, and consumer trust. Once again, thanks, MZ, for the outstanding presentation. Now we will move forward to the panel discussion. Again, during the panel discussion, if you have any questions, please post the questions to the chat, and we will try to answer it after the panel discussion part in the Q&A session. As I mentioned before, the entire presentation, along with the recordings and the answers for the questions, will be available within 3 business days via email. We have posted on the chat section the survey. Please fill out the survey to help us improve the webinar, as well as to receive the certificate of attendance. And now we are moving to our lively discussion with Kevin and Emad. They will help us dive into our questions today. Since Emad and Kevin introduced themselves previously, we can start with the first question. How are raw ingredients, particularly fresh fruits, influencing the current market trends? Kevin, would you like us to get started, please?
Thank you, Boyan. Sure. Answering the question, I'd like to start saying that fresh fruits are driving significantly the newer of healthy drinks, driving of a very importantly way the way that drinks maker are targeting new markets too, and especially the fruits that are known as exotics like mangosteen, like star fruit, like raspberry, like young coconut, lychee, among others, rather than apple, orange, or lemon, which are more traditional flavors. And the reason behind this is something more meaningful than product development. And it's that beverage brands aim to communicate that no sugar, no calories, and exotic flavors may bring in several health benefits like energy, stress relief, immunity boost, body cleansing, which at the same time are the traits that consumers or new consumers are seeking on this type of drinks, on the new era of drinks. No sugar drinks and no calorie drinks. In addition, the utilization of fruits, which are commonly found more expensive in the fresh markets, can influence the consumer perception from a traditional drink into a more upmarket and healthy choice, which is worth more money to pay for. And this is the strategy that too many beverage companies are implementing now in the global markets and also in the local markets to appeal the consumers with new products. Not only, as I said, not only it is about new product development, but catch the attention of new consumers by offering more healthy choice for them.
Okay, Kevin. Emad, can you elaborate on your side on the first question? How are raw ingredients, particularly fresh fruits, influencing the current market trends?
Okay. For the raw material, as you know, the availability of the raw material is very important to keep the product available in the market. When the production of fruit juice increase, the cost of the raw material will be decreased, making it easier and more cost effective for manufacturing to produce juice. This will lead to a booming of different juice types with different flavor, which meets the customer choice and driving the market demand. We can have an example like in Egypt. As you know, Egypt is famous with different has a competitive advantage in the processing for fruit juice. It is arising from the availability of fruit during the off-season. As you know, Egypt has a different variety of tropical and subtropical fruits, such as grapes, banana, mango, apple, peach, strawberry, pomegranate, mango. So it gives us a good availability to be including in the fruit juice market. But there is a climate change issue to which you need from us to make an adaptation for the farm level. So, regarding to that, the recent scientific research has been conducted indicated that we need to make a change in the management brackets in the farm to be more navigate the climate change impact. The system are being developed which can be better for predict the flowering time, the certain fruit for certain tree, calculating the pollination confidence, and avoid the damage weather event like forest and heavy rain by introducing the new way against insects infection or bacterial infection. So the improving is for the climate smart farming technique using the drone and the sensor and the new irrigation system across the growing region uh, with different variety. It will be important for fruit juice industry. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Ahmad. Before we move on to the next question, I will try to summarize. So it seems like in Latin America, we are seeing a shift towards healthier drink options, driven by the use of exotic fruits like starfruit, mangosteen, and lychees. The other side, climate change, in Ahmad's view, is affecting fresh fruit production, impacting quality and price. Let's move on to the second question. What are the key challenges in sourcing and scaling the production of fresh fruit beverages? Kevin, you can go on.
Thank you. Yeah, in countries like Colombia, where you can grow significantly amount of fruits, we can grow nearly 400 of different varieties. The main challenge is not how to source the fruits, but how to source and find consistent supply and quality to serve the international markets and the national market too at a larger scale. We know that beverage companies, are commonly the ones that I have mentioned already in this webinar: Coca-Cola, PepsiCo. So they need very large amounts of fruit. So usually these companies in the Western Hemisphere need to create grower associations, and it is basically to ensure enough supply to their manufacturing activities. The group of farmers that are associated by these companies can go or can range from 1,000 to 1,500 growers, all located across the country. But going beyond building up the associations, the beverage companies work closely with growers in terms of farm pest management, good agricultural practices, as well as it has a component which is the social development of growers and the industry in Colombia or Latin America in general. So they look to standardize as well their process and quality to make all the growers to work for them in an organized manner. In an organized manner. So one of the challenges that companies in this part of the world face is significantly the association of the capacity to associate growers and work organized for these companies. On the other hand, when it comes to more exotic fruit type, which has no large production, not only in Latin America, but it's spread around the world, the scalability of the business might be at stake, and would depend on, firstly, critical agri and climate conditions to ensure enough supply during the whole year. And secondly, logistics. Some of these exotic items need to be carried by air to preserve their natural traits like flavor and quality. So sometimes, if manufacturers cannot have a well-organized control on grower operations or origination operations, the supply chain could present too many hassles, and the lack of information about raw materials could end in costly operation. So the other key challenge for companies, beverage companies, is definitely the supply chain visibility, stability, and control. In this part, it's important for manufacturers to have a real understanding of the production that they had, the way they source the fruits for production of soft drinks or healthy drinks or functional drinks too. And in this scope, when they have limited options or several options to source the fruit, is when trick services come into their own to help beverage companies to make wiser and informed decisions about the sourcing through our intelligence and data platform. So it's always important to know how to source, where to source, and look at the challenges that logistics make bringing into the operation of beverage companies.
Thank you, Kevin. Ahmad, can you take on the second question?
Okay. One of the primary challenge facing the market now is changing for the consumer preference for a healthy, because now most of the consumer go to the healthy and natural product. So the consumer are becoming more aware about the healthy risk associated with consuming high level of sugar and additives. This lead to the shift toward alternative beverages such as water, tea, plant-based milk. This trend has an impact in the sales of fruit and vegetable juice, particularly those with high sugar content. One of the other key challenges is the regulatory issue that impact the fruit juice and vegetable market. The industry is subject to a strict regulation from the government and labeling issue and the health claim and the food safety issue. This regulation can vary by region and it can be complex and time consumed to navigate, particularly for a small and medium-sized producer. Also, as Kevin mentioned, the challenge for the supply chain issue, because the juice manufacturing is very sensitive because it depends on natural product. So the production of fruit and vegetable juice require consistency supply of fruit, fresh fruit and vegetable, which can be impacted by weather and climate change condition and or natural disaster or other economical factor. So the additional distribution for this product require reliable transportation network and storage facility, which can be affected by logistic and infrastructure issues. Thanks.
Thank you, Ahmad. So we can see a few key points from your answers. First, when it comes to exotic fruit juices, scalability is a major challenge. These fruits are not widely grown globally, and supply relies heavily on specific climate conditions and costly air transportation. On the other side, the fruit juice market also faces evolving consumer preferences, with more people shifting towards healthier, low-sugar beverages. Supply chain issues, like you mentioned, are driven by climate impacts and logistical challenges, and this is becoming a challenge for both the producers and the processors. So, to further complicate the landscape for everyone. We are moving to the third and last question for today. What does the future hold for the traditional soft drink market? Kevin, back to you again. I think you're muted, Kevin.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now? Correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
yeah, in my opinion, the future of traditional sodas and sugary drinks will rely on different aspects. Right now, there is a trend to reduce the consumption of the sugar around the world, to basically, or aiming basically, to improve consumers' health, right? Governments are inclined to impose additional taxes on products with high content of sugar, looking for a descent in the consumption of these ones. Also, the international price of sugar will always play a part in the production and the commercialization of these products, as well as trade contingents. Even not only the price or the trade barriers, but the availability itself. Like a few days ago, when thousands of acres in Brazil were affected by wildfires, making some countries emerging in the market, like India or Thailand, and in the future is expected to other sourcing countries gain more participation in market share. So in spite of this, the big picture of the soft drinks markets will look like stable through 2033, a very focused market with merchant acquisitions between not only local companies but global companies, and titanic contenders, of course. And as it is usual, we can see that the retail sector will be important for the sugar drinks, and the Oreca sector will play an important role for no sugar drinks or healthier alternatives.
Thank you, Kevin. Ahmad, can you please conclude with the final question? I think you're muted, Ahmad.
Okay, now?
Yep.
As you know, all market study mentions that the global soft drink material is anticipated to be rise in the considerable rate during the forecast period between 2024 until 2032. As in the last year, the market is growing at a steady rate, and with a rising adoption of a strategy by the key player in the market like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, uh, the market is expected to rise by 2 to 4% over the projected horizon. But on the other side, for the juice manufacturing, for the juice train, USA is the largest market for expansion, followed by Europe, followed by the Asian market. But on the other hand, India is the fast growing country with the consumption of fresh juice. If we can see by the capital for consumption, we will see that the capital consumption, the juice has been the highest in Canada over the past year, followed by Spain, Germany, Mexico, Poland, Saudi Arabia, and Estonia. Thanks.
Thank you, Ahmad. Thank you, everyone, for your answers. We have now come to the maybe most interesting part, the Q&A session. We had a live discussion on the chat session. We will now try to answer some of this. First question from Mr. Andrew. Could this growth of alternatives help drive economic growth in underdeveloped markets like East and Southern Africa? And also, which flavors are favorite in terms of currently available products on offer? MZ, can you please take on this question?
Yeah, sure, definitely. Andrew, thank you so much for the question. I definitely think they can drive economic growth, and they offer a lot of options. So, for example, in the markets that I have looked into, market entry becomes easier for small to medium scale players, where previously large scale players dominated the industry, right? But when it comes to functional beverages now, small, medium scale players can enter the market a lot easily, because the production of a lot of these functional beverages in a lot of the communities in Southern Africa, for example, there is a lot of cultural relevance to drinks of this nature, and the production utilizing organic ingredients is very accessible to small and medium scale manufacturers. So we find a lot of these options now popping up either in main retail stores, or even actually now you have a lot of small scale stores that open up with functional beverages, for example, specifically, and people actually favor those. You even find people selling these types of beverage on the streets. And I'm talking specifically about Southern Africa. I have seen the trend as well in West Africa, where there has also been a big rise of those types of functional beverages with ingredients such as wonjo, ginger, and so on, and they are sold on the side of the road, and they're very popular. And they've also made their ways into major stores. So I think market entry is easier. The production and being able to scale the production is a lot cheaper. Obviously, challenges remain. And then also, because from a cultural level, um, a, a lot of these beverages have always been popular. So now it's making a lot of cultural beverages become more mainstream. So I think that's what I can say regarding that. When it comes to the different flavors, I think when it comes to Africa, different regions favor different ingredients depending on what is grown in those particular regions. So, for example, like I was saying, if you look at West Africa, some ingredients like wonjo, for example, is very popular there, and it has a lot of health benefits. So they put that in the different drinks that they make. But I would say, as a whole, citrus-based ingredients have the highest popularity from what I've seen and from what I've researched. We see this coming from what we witnessed during the COVID-19 era, where the immune boosting qualities made citrus-based beverages more popular, and this has not gone away. We've actually seen a lot more beverages of this type being produced. I'm speaking specifically here in Southern Africa and other African regions. So that's what I would say to that. Thank you very much for your question, Andrew.
Thank you, MZ. Moving on to the second question from Mr. Mateus Tavares Martins. What type of drink is on the rise in West, specifically in South America? Kevin, can you please share your insight on this question?
Hi, Matheus. Thank you for the question. I would say definitely the water or sparkling water, but flavor with no calories are on trend. Especially in Colombia, we can see in different sales channels that this type of products can have a very good future in the industry, and it, of course, as I said previously, the Eureka sector, hotels, hospitality, cafeterias, and restaurants would be probably the best sale point for this product. So I would say water, sparkling water with flavor.
Thank you, Kevin. And another question from Mr. Pellet. He's a citrus producer from Turkey, and his question is, are there particularly certain flavors popular in certain markets? How can local farmers cater to these preferences? Emad, can you share your point of view? Please turn on your mic, Emad.
Okay. As we are in Egypt, we start with a citrus product. So there is many variety like lemon, Neville, Valencia, and the grapefruit. All these four varieties from citrus group can be used in manufacturing for juice for citrus, and it is available in Egypt with different size. And to be able to go to the how can the local farmer cater this preference, I think it can be getting some small tree and some relative by the Ministry of Agriculture, and it can be translated to different area and it can be cultivated. Like Turkey is famous with the pomegranate and apple, so it can be in the same way.
Thank you, Emad. We have one more question from Mr. Varsa Heravan. His question is related to the tonic water products and also beverages made with nutmeg oil. What are the market trends for these products, and what do we anticipate in the next 5 years? MZ, can you share your insights on the matter?
Sure. Thank you so much for the question, Warsa. Unfortunately, I don't have experience with nutmeg oil, but I have researched tonic water recently, so I'll share my insights on that. So I think traditionally we've known tonic water utilized alongside alcoholic beverages, but because we've seen a shift now because of the rise in health consciousness that we discussed extensively in this webinar. So there is a shift from alcoholic beverages to non-alcoholic beverages. So you find that tonic water is less being utilized as part of a mixture with alcoholic beverages, and companies are trying more and more to come up with tonic water options by themselves. You find there's also a trend of flavored tonic water options, and also drinking tonic water by itself. So that's what I have noticed. And in terms of the next 5 years, I think more companies are going to come up with these types of products to cater towards the consumers that are looking for non-alcoholic beverage options that have a bit of bitterness or a bit of the taste of the alcoholic beverages. So you see companies like Fever Tree, for example, in the UK. I've read about what they've been doing recently. So they have been trying to come up with more flavored tonic water options. So I think in the next 5 years, we're going to see a lot more flavored tonic water, and also the increased consumption of tonic water by itself, separate from alcoholic beverages.
Thank you, MZ. I think we covered all the questions from the chat section. It seems like time is up for the Q&A session, and we managed to answer all the questions from our attendees. Also, I'd like to thank everyone for participating in the webinar and attending, especially to MZ and his outstanding presentation, as well as on the field, on the ground answers from Kevin and Emad. Thank you very much for your question. Thank you everyone for joining us. If you have any other questions, feel free to email us at intelligence@tridge.com. To wrap it up, we had an overview of the landscape of the soft drink industry, strategies for success in the health-conscious soft drink market, and opportunities and sourcing fresh fruits for juices in Latin America and Egypt. And it was a lot of information, but we were really able to get through a lot of information in a short amount of time. And once again, the presentation and the slides will be shared on a follow-up email within 3 business days. I have shared the survey. Please fill out the survey to help us be better and to improve the webinar. Regarding our banner ads service, we would like to announce that we have one more service here at Tridge. Our newsletter banner ad is a really great way to get direct access to over 230,000 monthly Tridge.com users, as well as our newsletter subscriber base. We have many suppliers, importers, wholesalers, retailers, institutes, and other great organizations in the food business actively using Tridge's website. So it's a powerful channel to reach to these types of profiles. If this sounds interesting, we will be sending the presentations to you later, and you can contact our sales team for more information using the link provided. And on a final note, we look forward to hearing from you. We are organizing monthly webinars on various topics. Like I said, please fill out the survey and share any topics that you might be interested in, and we will try to cover them in our future webinars. On behalf of our speakers, MZ, Kevin, Emad, and myself, and Tridge, thank you for joining us today, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for attending.
Thank you, everyone.